And Billy Swift on the mound.
So the throw has gone down to second base, and Castilla, the third baseman, after they tossed it around the infield, has sent it back to Billy Swift. There's the home plate umpire tonight. We have the amateur umpires, Terry Bovee, Joe Padilla, Mike Riggers, and Dick Jackson. The Major League umpires being locked out by Major League Baseball right now. And we understand negotiations have been ongoing, but no breakthroughs as yet. And so the amateur umpires continue to be the ones we see in the big league ballparks. The first pitch at Coors Field. Brett Butler deep into the hole. The long throw by Weiss. Swing!
That's what Brett Butler gives you, speed at the top of the lineup and the ability to get on base. Walt Weiss doesn't have a strong, exceptionally strong arm, and this is the toughest play for a shortstop. Deep in the hole, he doesn't have time to plant himself because Butler runs well. Galarraga stretches out, he comes up with it, but Butler beats the play at first base.
Brett Butler, in his first at-bat as a New York Met, swings at the first pitch, which may be a record for him.
I bet it is a record.
Earliest ball swung at in a season by Brett Butler. Now here is Jose Vizcaino. 256, another switch hitter. The Mets have five switch hitters in their starting lineup for the game tonight. Butler back to the bag at first. Butler, even with the strike-shortened season last year, the fact that he's getting old, he stole 27 bases last year and got caught only 8 times, and he alone stole more bases than the entire Mets team last year. That's a ball from Billy Swift.
Billy Swift does a decent job of holding the runner on at first base. He will throw over, and he also kind of uses a halfway slide step on occasion. I think another reason that Butler swung at Swift's first pitch is because he knows that when Swift gets ahead of the hitter, he's very tough to hit.
Butler is running right up the middle. Could be 2. There's 1, 2.
And John, that's what Billy Swift will give you. He may get a few hit runners on base, but he will get you the ground ball when he needs one. And it'll be up to the Rockies infield to make the double plays and turn it for him. Butler's going, but it's a ground ball, and Swift throws tons of ground balls. And a nice play there by Weiss. Very simple, 6-3.
Well, last night we saw another former Giant, John Burkett, another sinker baller, gets a lot of ground balls, and he was betrayed by the defense of his new ball club. Now we'll see what happens here with Swift and his new ball club, because both of them, Swift and Burkett, benefited from maybe the best defense in the National League playing behind them while with the Giants.
That is true.
The batter is Rico Brogna. Shallow center, Weiss. He's involved in everything in this inning. He's got it. Down go the Mets. A leadoff single for Butler, but nobody left on. And a 5-pitch inning for Swift. The Rockies are coming up. Joe Girardi, the catcher. Larry Walker makes his debut for Colorado. And a lot of high hopes pinned on this acquisition. Andres Galarraga, who's just had incredible numbers since coming to Denver. Dante Bichette also. He has blossomed into a star. Now in left field with the acquisition of Walker. Mike Kingery hit .349 last year. In center field, Ellisburg still hurt. Vinny Castilla at third, replacing Charlie Hayes. Roberto Mejia at second, and Billy Swift, the pitcher, and a good hitting pitcher, hitting 9th. On the mound for the Mets, he was 12-7 last year. Bobby Jones.
And I think Bobby Jones is another reason that the Mets have a chance of having an excellent season. There you see, he had 12 wins last year. Bobby Jones throws a fastball, curveball, slider, and a change. He has all the pitches. And you can see he gave up fewer hits than innings pitched, which is a good sign for a pitcher.
And Jones was particularly effective on the road. Didn't win much at Shea, but on the road he was almost unbeatable.
Well, let's take a look at the defense. Carl Everett replaces Brian Thompson and right. Brett Butler in center field. I think he's going to make this a strong defensive unit. Seguia in left. Bonilla is at third, and Bonilla's a better third baseman than people give him credit for. Vizcaino, Kent, Brogna, Todd Huntley behind the plate, and Bobby Jones on the mound.
So here come the Rockies. Now remember, when the Colorado Rockies first came into being, as Dallas Green looks on from the hopefully a warm spot somewhere in that Mets dugout. When the Rockies first came into being, they opened at New York against the Mets. But then when they came home for their first home game at Mile High Stadium, the first batter for the Rockies in that ballpark hit a home run. Now, Walt Weiss is not a guy who is likely to hit a home run. But right field appears to be the home run field in this ballpark. Fouled away by Weiss. And quickly, Jones is ahead of the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Now, down the right field line, it's 350 feet. The wall out there is 14 feet high. But in right center, the power alley, 375. And in this rarefied air, that is very reachable for a lot of people. So the home run field will be there. The left field is very big. It's 415 to center. Too high, and it is a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. 347 down the left field line, and then 390 to left center. So a very deep alley in left center. You see the foul ball down the left field line as well. And Walt Weiss, it's not a home run, but he gets the Rockies started with the first Rockies hit in Coors Field. He'll go into the books.
Well, Bobby Jones got ahead of him 0-2, and he hung a slider, and Walt Weiss hit it in the right field for a base hit. John, my belief is that if people talk about how good the ball travels here, I think the key for a pitcher is not to worry so much all the time about a sinker, but to make sure that he stays ahead of the hitters. The problems happen when you get behind 2-0 and the hitter knows what's coming. Then he tries to lift the ball, and then you get a lot of fly balls that will go out. So I think the key to being successful in a park like this, Chicago's Wrigley Field, places like that, is to throw strikes and stay ahead of the hitters.
The batter, Joe Girardi, former Cub and an original Rocky. He takes ball 1. Girardi hit .276 last year, 4 homers. He's not a power hitter, even in Denver, but that's not a bad average for a catcher. And he runs pretty well.
Well, that's why he's hitting second. Very unusual to have your catcher hitting second in the lineup. But Joe runs well, and he can move the ball around. He hits behind the runner well. Good hit and run man. And I think you'll see over the course of the season that Don Baylor will take advantage of that.
The outfield pushed over toward the right field side by the Mets. The left fielder out there, David Segui, is way over in the left center. So Girardi could manage to pull one here against Bobby Jones. The runners would be going for a long while. You see how they set themselves out there. Bronya on the bag at first with Walt Weiss. Weiss stole 12 bases last year. 2-0 now to Girardi. Now, once you get past Girardi, then the Rockies' power comes up. Walker, Galarraga, and Bichette. And particularly here at home, that is some impressive power. There goes the runner. Base hit. Weiss will easily make it to third.
And you'll see a lot of that, as I mentioned, over the course of the season, because Baylor likes to hit and run. Girardi can do the job, and Weiss runs well as also. So it's a perfect hit and run combination there.
Don Baylor. Now Baylor will get his first look in the regular season at his prized acquisition, Larry Walker, formerly of the Expos. And Walker immediately comes up with a chance to get an RBI or 2 here. Doesn't have to worry about when he's going to get his first hit and his first RBI before the new hometown crowd. He's already done that. He's taken care of that bit of business. And here's the cat, Andres Galarraga. 31 homers last year, 85 RBIs. He was the batting champion the year before that with the Rockies. Outside, he played 103 games last year before he got hurt.
And he takes a very unusual stance at the plate. He actually faces the pitcher. Now watch, his front shoulder is the key to his success. He keeps that front shoulder in at all times.
Ball 2.
In fact, one of the reasons he gets hit a lot is because he kind of dives into the ball. And it doesn't have to be way inside to hit him. Just off the plate inside, a lot of times he gets nicked by the pitches. See that very unusual stance, but he'll take his front foot and dive toward the pitcher with it.
Girardi at third, Walker at second. The runners will hold as Jones handles it over to Bronya. And Galarraga is unable to pick up an RBI there. That's the first out. And that's a big out for Bobby Jones to get.
Very big out. That's a situation where if Galarraga was able to even hit the ball toward the right side, the run would have scored, and the other runner moves over to third with less than 2 outs. So that was what you call a wasted out. A lot of times there are good outs and bad outs. That was a bad out with runners at second and third and no one down.
Yeah, he could have hit a ground ball
To the right side.
The right side, gotten an RBI, could hit a fly ball.
Right.
Picked up a run.
And moved the runner along.
Here's Dante Bichette. Another Rocky's been putting up huge numbers. And the curve is high. 27 homers, 95 runs batted in for Bichette in the strike shortened year with a 304 average. You see how they play, and they're deep in the outfield. The infield is backed up. Runners at second and third. Again, a ground ball to the middle would bring a run home with 1 out.